Hey friends, it's Courtney. Welcome back to my channel, Phyrra. Today's video is inspired by the chilling adventures of Sabrina season 3. I saw a single promo shot where she's wearing like this metallic red eyeshadow that's kind of like blackened and smoky, and I was like, I want to do a look inspired by that. She's also got a crown on. So let me show you this look up close. And if you decide you like it, you can just watch my tutorial. If not, just click out and watch something else. I put on a translucent eyeshadow primer and I set it with a skin tone shade setting powder. I'm using a deep burgundy matte on my CAOS 20 brush, and I'm going to just start basically applying the color to my lower lid, and I'm going to elongate the shape towards the tail of my brow. And then I'm going to pop the brush into the socket of my eye, so I'm following the literal bone structure of my eye rather than where my crease should be, because I have hooded eyes and I have all this excess skin. And then because I want to make the shape a little bit different than I normally do, I'm gonna bring it up a little bit more at the inner part here. And I'm just working with what's on my brush. I love this matte, it just blends out so beautifully. Oh, I am filling in the outer part of the lid right there just to make sure. And then I'm gonna switch to a Sigma E20 to start blending. And don't worry about this being exact, because we're going to clean it up later on with a makeup wipe or a little bit of makeup remover. The most important thing right now is to get everything to be soft and blended. Okay, I'm going to go back with the same brush and a bright red matte and do the same thing again. And I'm basically just doing this because I want to build up the intensity of this color. And I decided to fill in this little gap here, so I need to start blending it out. I don't normally do this shape, but I'm going to do this shape today, and I think it's going to look awesome. Okay, I am switching to a soft, cool tone brown, and I'm going to basically apply it as a transition shade at the edge of this red. If you are not cool toned like I am, you probably would want a warm tone brown for your transition. And then I'm taking a clean Sigma E25 and just further buffing out that transition shade. My eye's watering, it's gonna fuck up that corner a little bit. And I'm gonna use a warm ivory matte under the brows to just further shape this blend. I want this blend to look great. Okay, so I know I don't normally only show you tutorials in one eye, but I do want to show you that this side isn't matching my other side exactly the way I want it to. So I'm looking in the mirror with both of my eyes open to try to see where it needs a little bit more red to balance it, and then I'm just kind of filling in, and then I'm gonna go back and blend. And yes, I'm basically doing this with my eyes open while I'm staring in the mirror. And really, I'm just using the amount of product that's left on the brush to help me fill in. And now I'm using a soft black matte on a pointed brush, and I'm gonna pop that into the outer part of my eye socket and start using that to basically kind of deepen the color at the outer part of the eye. And I'm taking my big brush that I applied my setting powder with and just kind of blending in circles on top of the crease, because I feel like this often helps make it look more finished and blended out to me. Cool tan color at my inner lid. Like I said, if you are not cool toned like I am and you don't want to use a cool tone shade, just use a warm tone tan. And I'm going to take a metallic red and spray a brush with some setting spray to make it like more vibrant and metallic, and put that on my mobile lid. And this is like a metallic red with a little bit of a copper shift. And I'm going to put on my face primer. And I always like to let my face primer sit for like 60 seconds. Then I go in with my foundation. I'm using a foundation stick, of which I have many because they're my favorite form of foundation these days. And I didn't get a lot of deep sleep, so I need a little bit of concealer. I'm gonna try to put my concealer on with a brush so that it makes it a little bit harder to tell what brand it is for this whole Brandless tutorial. If you're ever dealing with allergies like I am and you can't get eyeshadow to stick to a certain part, you can always try and pat a little bit of concealer on there and just build it up on top of the primer. All right, so I'm gonna put on a blush that's kind of like it's described by the brand as like a nude peach, nude pink, something like that. But I consider it like a warm blush, kind of like warms up my complexion. And I'm going to apply a brow gel to my brows and try to keep it brandless. And I'm gonna use a brow pencil to kind of fill in my tails a little bit. I'm using basically like a peach base with an opalescent violet shift for my highlighter. And I'm putting this on top of my blush as well, to sort of like give me a lot of glow. And I'm taking a makeup sponge that's a little damp and just kind of patting it all over my face. And then I'm taking the same slightly damp sponge, I'm rolling it in a little bit of finishing powder, and I'm gonna put it under the eyes. I'm gonna outline my lips with a red lip pencil, and I'm gonna put on my favorite red metallic lipstick. I have on my favorite red lipstick, my favorite red lip pencil, some gorgeous red eyeshadow, so I gotta finish this look. I think I need a little bit more duochrome going on. I'm gonna use a duochrome that is basically a white gold with a red shift, and I'm gonna highlight here at the inner corner and a little bit at the inner lower lid, just so that it gives me a little bit of that like extra glow. That's what this is doing, it's giving me some glow. And I'm gonna do a little bit here under the outer part of the brow. And I'm just going back with one final clean brush for a final blend here. On mascara, I may not be able to hide this, so if I can't hide this, I'm sorry. So I put on my mascara. I'm not gonna do lashes today. I do wanna put an eye brightening shade on my lower waterline. This is like a metallic champagne color. Now this would look much better with lashes, but because I've got so much to do today, I don't wanna put on false lashes. I love, love, love how this like molten metallic red comes out, and then you have like this smoking black and red crease. It just looks awesome to me. So yeah, like I mentioned at the start of this video, I just saw a single promo shot for Sabrina season 3 where she's wearing like metallic red and black eyeshadow, which really inspired this look. It's not exactly like her look because my eyes are shaped differently, but I hope you enjoy it. I know many of you have already reached out to tell me that you really liked the last Brandless tutorial that I did, so that's why I did this tutorial, Brandless. And if you would like to see another Brandless tutorial, let me know in the comments below. I've already had a request for green and black. If you have other color combos, let me know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you're wondering what to watch next, check over here because I'm going to tell you to check out my Milk Makeup entire brand review where I review everything that I've ever purchased and used from the brand, tell you what I love, what I hate. Or check down here and I'm going to tell you to check out another tutorial, probably a duochrome one. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. I'll see you next time.